The mountain pass was quiet except for the wind. The old soldier walked slowly, his boots crunching on loose stones. His back hurt. His knees hurt. Everything hurt these days. He had been walking for 3 hours, trying to get back to his outpost before dark. Then he heard it. A sound like breathing, but deeper, heavier. He stopped and put his hand on his sword. After 40 years of war, he knew that sound. It was a dragon. He moved carefully around a large boulder. What he saw made him freeze. A dragon lay on the ground. It was young, maybe 20 feet long from nose to tail. Its scales were red and gold, beautiful, even covered in dust and blood. 3 metal harpoons stuck out of its side. The weapons had chains attached to them. Sky pirate weapons. The dragon's breathing was shallow and quick. The soldier should have killed it right there. That was his job. That was what he had done for most of his life. Humans and dragons had been fighting for 60 years. The war had taken his friends, his youth, and nearly his life a dozen times over. But he did not draw his sword. The dragon's eye opened. It was golden, like melted sun. The eye looked at him with something he did not expect. Fear. Yes. But also, intelligence. Understanding. The dragon knew it was going to die. Do it quickly. The dragon whispered in broken human speech. Its voice sounded like rocks, grinding together, but the words were clear enough. Please. Dragon. Please. The soldier stood there for a long moment. He thought about all the battles, all the death, all the years of killing and nearly being killed. He thought about why the war had started. Land. Resources. Fear. He could barely remember anymore. He lowered his sword. Then he put it back in its sheath. You speak our language, he said. Little bit, the dragon replied. Its eye closed in pain. Learned from prisoners. Before release, the soldier looked at the harpoons. They were deep. The dragon was losing blood. Without help, it would be dead in an hour, maybe less. He should walk away. He should let nature take its course. But his feet would not move. Those need to come out, he said, more to himself than to the dragon. The dragon's eye opened again. Why? Help? I do not know, the soldier admitted. It was the truth. He took off his pack and pulled out his field medicine kit. It was meant for humans, not dragons, but bleeding was bleeding. He approached carefully. The dragon watched him but did not move. It could have killed him easily, even wounded. One bite, one swipe of its claws. But it lay still. This will hurt, the soldier said. He gripped the first harpoon. Already. Hurts, the dragon said. The soldier pulled. The harpoon came free with a wet sound. Dark red blood flowed from the wound. He quickly packed it with cloth and pressure. The dragon made a sound deep in its chest, but did not pull away. 2 more harpoons, 2 more wounds. The soldier used all his bandages and most of his water to clean the injuries. His hands worked automatically, the same way they had worked on human soldiers 1,000 times before. When he finished, he sat back. His water was gone. His medical supplies were gone. He had nothing left for the 3-day walk back to the outpost. Why? The dragon asked again. Its breathing was easier now, less panicked. The soldier looked at the sky. The sun was getting low. I have been a soldier since I was 16 years old. I have killed 43 dragons. Maybe more. I stopped counting after a while. He paused. I am tired of killing. I am too old for it. And you? He looked at the dragon. You are barely grown. Younger than my grandson would have been. Would have been? Dead. 10 years ago. Dragonfire. The soldier said it, without emotion. The pain was old now, worn smooth by time. The dragon was quiet for a moment. I am sorry. Are you? Yes. I lost my mother. Human cannons. 5 years ago. The dragon shifted, wincing. We both lose. The soldier nodded slowly. Yes, we both lose. They sat in silence as the sun moved lower. Finally, the soldier stood. You should be able to fly in a day or two. Stay hidden. Sky pirates travel this route often. Wait, the dragon said. It struggled to lift its head. You show mercy. This is rare. In my culture, I owe you a debt. A life for a life. You owe me nothing. You do not understand. I must give you my true name. It is our way. The dragon's voice became stronger, more formal. I am Sareth, daughter of Kareth, of the Crimson Ridge clan. I name you Dragon Friend. This is a bond that cannot break. The soldier felt something shift in the air, like a door opening, like a promise being made. That sounds dangerous. For both of us, he said. Yes, Sareth agreed. Very dangerous. But it is done now. If you ever need me, speak my true name to the wind. I will come. The soldier shook his head. I hope I never need to call a dragon for help. I hope you never need to as well, Sareth said. But the world is changing. Can you feel it? Something is coming. The soldier could feel it. He had felt it for months now. A tension in the air. A sense that something big was about to happen. He had learned to trust those feelings over 40 years of war. Rest and heal, he said. And stay away from humans. Not all of them would do what I did today. I know. That is why your mercy means something. Sareth's eye closed. Go safely, old soldier. I will remember this. The soldier turned and walked away. His canteen was empty. His supplies were gone. He had a 3-day walk ahead of him with nothing, and he had just helped the enemy. But as he walked, he felt lighter somehow. For the first time in 40 years, he felt like he had done something right. Behind him, Sareth watched him go. She would remember the human who showed mercy. And soon, very soon, the whole world would remember him too. The sun set behind the mountains, painting the sky red and gold. In an hour, everything would change. But for now, there was only an old soldier walking home, and a young dragon learning that enemies could choose to be something else, something better. The old soldier reached the outpost 2 days later than expected. He was dehydrated, exhausted, and sunburned. The guards at the gate looked surprised to see him. Sir, we thought you were dead, the young guard said. I was delayed, the soldier said simply. He walked past them toward the command building. His commanding officer was waiting. Colonel Hayes was a hard man with a face like carved stone. He had fought in the war even longer than the old soldier had. One. You are late, Hayes said. His voice was cold. And you look like hell. Where have you been? Walking. I ran into trouble. What kind of trouble? The soldier hesitated. Sky pirates. I had to take a different route. Hayes stared at him for a long moment. The soldier had never been good at lying, and Hayes knew it. But before the colonel could ask more questions, an alarm bell began to ring. Not the small bell for drills. The big one. The one that meant real danger. Both men ran outside. Soldiers were pointing at the sky to the north. The old soldier looked up and felt his heart sink. Dragons. Dozens of them. No. Hundreds. The sky was dark, with wings. More dragons than he had ever seen in one place. More than anyone had seen in 50 years. Battle stations, Hayes shouted. Get the cannons ready. Get everyone armed. Soldiers ran in all directions. The old soldier just stood and stared. This was not a raiding party. This was a fleet. This was an army. A dragon broke away from the group and flew down toward the outpost. It was large, with blue and silver scales. It landed outside the main gate. Close enough to talk, but far enough to avoid the cannons. Humans of the southern outpost, the dragon called out. Its voice was loud and clear. We seek the one who showed mercy in the mountain pass 2 days ago. We mean no harm to your settlement. Send out the merciful one, and we will leave in peace. Upon daughter. 200. The old soldier felt every eye turn toward him. Hayes grabbed his arm. What did you do? The colonel demanded. I helped a wounded dragon. The soldier admitted. Young one. It was dying. Hayes's face turned red. You helped the enemy? That is treason. We could use you as bait. Set a trap. No, the soldier said firmly. If they wanted to attack, they would have done it already. This is something else. You do not get to make that choice, Hayes said. But he looked uncertain. The dragons in the sky could destroy the outpost in minutes, if they wanted to. The blue dragon called out again. We will wait 1 hour. Then we will assume you refuse, and we will leave. But know this. Humans. A great choice comes. The old ways are dying. Your answer today will determine if we die fighting, or if we die as allies. The dragon spread its wings and flew back to the fleet. The outpost exploded into argument. Officers shouted at each other. Some wanted to use the soldier as bait for an ambush. Others wanted to just hand him over and avoid a fight. A few thought they should talk to the dragons. The old soldier did not wait for them to decide. He walked toward the gate. Stop, Hayes ordered. That is an order, soldier. The old soldier turned. Colonel, I have served for 40 years. I have followed every order, even the ones that made me sick inside. Not this time. Something important is happening, and it is bigger than you or me or this outpost. He walked out the gate before anyone could stop him. The walk to the clearing, where the blue dragon waited, felt longer than it was. The soldier kept his hand away from his sword. He wanted to show he came in peace. The blue dragon watched him approach. When he was close enough, it spoke. You are the one. I can smell Sareth's blood on your clothes. Is she alive? The soldier asked. Yes. Because of you. She returned to her clan and told them what happened. Her story reached all the clans. The dragon lowered its head to look at him more closely. My name is Vorath. I am a speaker for the Council of Clans. Do you know what you have done? Human, I helped someone who was dying. You showed mercy to a dragon. Humans do not do that. Not in 60 years of war. Not since the betrayal. Vorath's golden eyes were intense. Sareth's mother was killed by humans. Yet you, whose grandson was killed by dragons, you still chose mercy. Why? The soldier thought about it. Because the killing has to stop sometime. It might as well start with me. Vorath was quiet for a long moment. Then he said something that chilled the soldier's blood. The dragon clans are dying. Our lands are poisoned. Our eggs do not hatch. We have been raiding human settlements not for conquest, but for survival. We are desperate. He paused. We gathered the Grand Council for the first time in 300 years. We debated. Should we launch one final war to take back what we need, even if it kills us all? Or is there another way? Remember, we can mein life set from. We have another way. What did you decide? We did not decide. We are divided. Half believe humans can never be trusted. They want total war. The other half. Vorath looked at the sky, where hundreds of dragons waited. The other half heard about you, about your mercy. They wonder if humans have changed, if peace is possible. The soldier felt the weight of it. One choice, one moment of mercy, and now the fate of 2 species hung on it. What do you want from me? He asked. Proof. Proof that you are not unique. Proof that humans can choose wisdom over violence. Vorath spread his wings. You must come with us. Meet the council. Speak for your kind. Show us that humanity deserves a chance at peace. And if I cannot prove it, then the war faction wins. They will launch an attack that will kill millions on both sides. Neither species will survive it, but they do not care anymore. They prefer honor in death to slow extinction. The soldier looked back at the outpost. Hayes and the other officers watched from the walls. Behind them, young soldiers held weapons with shaking hands. They were afraid. He understood that fear. He had lived with it for 40 years, but he also understood something else now. Fear without wisdom led only to more death. "I will come," he said, "but I cannot speak for all humans. I am just one old soldier. You are the one who showed mercy," Vorath said. "That makes you exactly what we need. If you can show the Council that humans have the capacity for change, for growth, for peace, then maybe we can avoid the end of everything." That night, Sareth appeared at the window of the small room where they had placed him in the outpost. She barely fit through the opening, still young and small enough to slip inside. "You should not have come," the soldier said. But he was not really surprised. He had felt her presence somehow. "I had to warn you," Sareth whispered urgently. "The Council is dangerous. They will test you. And my brother. He leads the war faction. He thinks your mercy was a trick. He will try to kill you to prove humans cannot be trusted." "Your own brother? He lost his mate to human firebombs. His eggs too." "He is." Sareth struggled for words. "He is broken inside. He sees only revenge now." The soldier sat on his bed. He suddenly felt very old and very tired. "Maybe he is right," he said quietly. "No," Sareth said firmly. She moved closer, her golden eyes bright in the darkness. "It is never too late. My mother told me that before she died. She said the old ways would end someday, and new ways would begin. She said to watch for the signs." Sareth touched his hand gently with one claw. "You are a sign. I know it." The soldier looked at this young dragon who believed in him, who thought one old man could change the course of history. Maybe she was right, or maybe they would both die trying. But he had to try, because if he did not, who would? "Get back to your clan," he told Sareth. "Stay safe, and thank you for the warning." She slipped back through the window and disappeared into the night sky. The soldier lay back on his bed but could not sleep. Somewhere out there, hundreds of dragons waited. And tomorrow, he would have to convince them that humanity was worth saving. He thought about his grandson, about all the people he had lost, about 60 years of pointless war. Maybe it was time for it to end. One way or another, the journey took 2 days. Vorath carried the old soldier on his back, flying high above the mountains. The soldier had never flown before. At first, he held on so tight his hands hurt. But slowly, he began to look around. The world looked different from up here. Smaller. The borders that armies fought over were just lines on a map. The mountains did not care who claimed them. "You are quiet, human," Vorath said over the wind. "I am thinking. From up here, the war seems stupid." Vorath made a sound like rough laughter. "Yes, most wars are stupid, but they happen anyway." They flew over scarred lands. The soldier saw forests burned black, rivers that ran strange colors, entire valleys where nothing grew. "The poison lands," Vorath explained. "Your factories make smoke that kills the sky. Our eggs need clean air to hatch. In the last 10 years, only 1 egg in 20 survives." The soldier felt sick. He had known the factories were bad, but he had not known this. "We did not know," he said quietly. "That is part of the problem," Vorath replied. "Humans do not see what their progress costs. And we dragons did not ask. We just attacked. Both sides too proud to talk." Finally, they reached the meeting place. It was an ancient volcanic caldera, a massive bowl carved into a mountain. The inside was ringed with stone ledges, where dragons could perch. At the center was a flat area with a single stone chair. The sky was filled with dragons. The old soldier had never imagined so many existed. There were red ones and blue ones, gold and silver and black. Some were huge, the size of houses. Others were smaller, barely bigger than horses. All of them watched as Voreth descended. He set the soldier down gently at the center of the caldera. Then he flew up to join the other dragons on the ledges. The soldier stood alone. He had faced armies before, but he had never felt so small. A massive dragon descended from the highest ledge. Its scales were deep purple, almost black. Its eyes were like ancient amber. When it spoke, its voice echoed off the stone walls. I am the keeper of the last flame. I have lived for 300 years. I remember when humans and dragons lived in peace. The dragon fixed its gaze on the soldier. I also remember the betrayal that ended that peace. The soldier said nothing. He sensed this was not the time to speak. You are here because one dragon claims you showed mercy. One act against 60 years of war. Why should we believe this means anything? The soldier took a breath. Because it is a start. Because someone has to make the first move toward peace, or the killing never stops. A red dragon roared from one of the ledges. Pretty words. But words are cheap. My mate died from human firebombs. My children burned alive. Why should I believe humans have changed? More dragons roared in agreement. The sound was deafening. The keeper of the last flame raised a wing. Silence fell immediately. You will have a chance to prove your words, human. We will give you 3 trials. Pass them, and we will consider peace. Fail them, and the war faction wins. We will burn every human settlement from here to the coast, even if it kills us all. The soldier felt sweat run down his back. What are the trials? First, you will face our greatest warrior in combat. But you must not kill him. You must defeat him with honor and restraint. This will prove humans can be strong without being cruel. A massive golden dragon dropped down into the center. It was covered in scars. Its eyes were cold. I am Krail, it said. I have killed 87 humans. I will not be easy to defeat. The soldier drew his sword. It seemed very small next to the dragon. Second, the keeper continued, you will solve the poison that kills our nesting grounds. Use human knowledge for healing instead of harm. This will prove human intelligence can build instead of destroy. Third, you will speak truth. Tell us about humanity's worst acts. No lies. No excuses. No hiding. This will prove humans can face their own darkness with honesty. The soldier nodded slowly. These were fair tests. Difficult, but fair. I accept, he said. Krail moved forward immediately. Then let us begin, human. Show me your mercy means strength, not weakness. The dragon was fast. The soldier barely dodged the first strike. Claws scraped the stone where he had been standing. He rolled and came up, running. He could not win by strength. Krail was too big, too strong. He had to be smart. The soldier ran toward the wall of the caldera. Krail followed, confident. When the dragon lunged, the soldier dodged to the side. Krail's head hit the stone wall, hard. The dragon roared in pain and anger. It turned faster than the soldier expected. A tail strike caught him in the ribs. He flew through the air and hit the ground hard. Pain exploded through his chest. Get up, human, Krail roared. Or die like the coward you are. The soldier struggled to his feet. His ribs were broken. Every breath hurt. But he raised his sword again. They fought for what felt like hours. The soldier used every trick he had learned in 40 years of combat. He used the terrain. He used misdirection. He waited for openings. Slowly, he began to see Krail's pattern. The dragon was strong and fast, but he always attacked the same way. Left claw, right claw, tail sweep. Left claw, right claw, tail sweep. The next time Krail attacked, the soldier was ready. He dodged left, then right, then jumped. He landed on Krael's back, between the wings where the dragon could not reach. He put his sword to Krael's throat. "Yield," the soldier said quietly. "I do not want to kill you. But I will, if I must." Krael went still. The entire caldera was silent. "Why do you hesitate?" Krael asked. "I would not hesitate to kill you. I know. But I am trying to prove we can be better than our worst instincts. Both of us." The soldier's hand shook. He was exhausted. "Please. Yield." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Krael lowered his head. "I yield." The soldier climbed down. He almost fell. His legs barely held him. The keeper of the last flame made a sound of approval. "You passed the first trial. Rest now. Tomorrow, we test your mind." They gave him a cave to sleep in. A small dragon brought him food and water. His ribs hurt too much to eat much, but he forced himself to drink. That night, Sareth visited again. "You fought well," she said. "But the next trial is harder. The poison in our nesting grounds. Human scientists have tried to study it. They cannot. It kills them before they can understand it." "Tell me everything you know about it," the soldier said. Sareth described the poison. It was in the air, near the nesting grounds. Dragons could survive it, but their eggs could not. The shells became thin and brittle. The young inside died before hatching. The soldier thought about everything he had seen on the flight here. The burned forests, the strange colored rivers, the factories pumping smoke into the sky. "It is not one poison," he said slowly. "It is many. The factories make chemicals that rise into the air. They settle on the mountains where your nests are. The rain washes them into the water. Everything connects." "But how do we stop it?" Sareth asked. "I need to see the nesting grounds, and I need samples of the water and soil." The next day, they flew him to the ancient nesting grounds. They were high in the mountains, in caves that had been used for thousands of years. The smell hit him immediately. Sulfur and chemicals and rot. The soldier collected samples in containers they brought him. He studied the eggs that had failed to hatch. He examined the water sources. Then he understood. "The problem is not just the factories," he told the council that evening. "It is where you nest. These mountains have metal ores in them. Copper, lead. The factory smoke reacts with the metal. It creates a poison that settles here." He paused. "You need to move your nesting grounds, away from the industrial zones, to the eastern mountains, where the wind blows the other direction." An angry roar came from the dragons. "We have nested here for 3,000 years. This is our sacred ground." "I know," the soldier said. "But the world has changed. You can keep your traditions and die, or you can adapt and live. That is the truth." The keeper was quiet for a long time. Then it said, "The human speaks wisely. It is a hard truth, but truth nonetheless. You passed the second trial." That night, the soldier barely slept. The third trial worried him most. Speaking truth about humanity's darkness. He had seen so much of it. The next morning, he stood before the council again. "Tell us," the keeper said. "Tell us the worst of what humans have done, and tell us why we should believe you can change." The soldier took a deep breath. Then he spoke. He told them about the fire bombings of dragon nurseries, about humans who killed dragons just for sport, about the factories that poisoned the land for profit, about leaders who sent young soldiers to die for lies. He told them about his own sins. The dragons he had killed, the young ones, the ones who had surrendered, the ones he still saw in his nightmares. He did not make excuses. He did not soften the truth. He spoke until his voice was raw. When he finished, tears ran down his face. "We have done terrible things, things I am ashamed of. But I have also seen humans sacrifice themselves to save others. I have seen humans create beauty. I have seen humans change their minds and choose mercy. He looked at the keeper. We are capable of both great evil and great good. Just like you. The silence that followed was complete. Then, Sereth's brother dropped down into the center. His scales were dark, red, almost brown. His eyes burned with hate. Pretty speech, Sereth's brother said. His voice was like grinding metal. But I do not believe in human mercy. I believe in human lies. The keeper of the last flame looked at him. Speak your name and purpose, young one. I am Drakir, son of Kareth, of the Crimson Ridge clan. My mate was Serena. She and our 3 unhatched eggs died in a human firebomb attack. They burned alive while I was away hunting. His voice shook with rage. This human speaks of mercy and change, but words are wind. I challenge his right to speak for humanity. I demand a true test. The other dragons stirred. Whispers echoed around the caldera. The keeper studied Drakir for a long moment. What test do you propose? Sung. Let him walk the path of ancestors, the old way. Let him see what we have lost because of humanity. Let him feel the pain we have carried. Then let him tell us again about mercy and peace. The soldier did not know what the path of ancestors was, but he could see Sereth's face from where she perched. She looked terrified. The path of ancestors has not been walked in 200 years, the keeper said slowly. It is dangerous. Many dragons have died attempting it, and no human has ever tried. Then let this be the final test, Drakir said. If he survives and still speaks of peace, then perhaps his words have weight. If he dies or abandons his claims, then we know the truth about human courage. The keeper looked at the old soldier. Do you understand what is being asked? The path of ancestors is a ritual where one walks through our collective memory. You will experience our history, our pain, our losses. It will feel real. Your mind may break under the weight of it. The soldier's ribs still hurt from fighting Krael. His whole body ached. He was tired and scared, but he had come too far to turn back now. I will do it, he said. They prepared him that evening. An ancient dragon, so old its scales had turned white, came to explain the ritual. You will drink this, the dragon said, showing him a bowl of glowing liquid. It is made from the fire sap tree that grows only in our sacred groves. It will open your mind to the memories we carry in our blood. What will I see? Everything. Our history with humans, the good times and the bad. You will not just see it. You will live it. You will feel what we felt. It will last one night, but it will feel like a lifetime. The soldier took the bowl. The liquid smelled like smoke and flowers. And if my mind breaks, then you will die or go mad. This is why Drakir chose this test. He hopes you will fail. The old dragon's eyes were kind despite the harsh words. But I sense strength in you. Also, I will die. But I sense strength in you. Perhaps you will succeed where others have failed. The soldier drank. The liquid burned going down. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the world began to shift. He was no longer in his body. He was flying. No, he was a dragon, flying over a lush valley. Below, humans worked in fields. Not just any humans. Ancient humans. They wore simple clothes and used basic tools. They looked up and waved at him. He felt no fear from them, only greeting. He landed near a human village. Children ran up to him, laughing. They climbed on his back like he was a friendly horse. An old human woman brought him a basket of fish. Thank you for watching over us, Sky Friend, she said. The raiders would have taken everything if you had not warned us. He felt warmth in his chest. Pride. Belonging. This was the old world. When humans and dragons lived together in peace, the vision shifted. He was at a great gathering. Hundreds of dragons and thousands of humans celebrated together. They had just completed a great bridge across a canyon. Dragons had carried the stones. Humans had designed the structure. Together, they had built something neither could have built alone. "This is the world that was," a voice said in his mind. It was the keeper of the last flame. "This is what we lost." The vision shifted again. This time, he was in a dragon nest, warm and safe. He felt the contentment of a mother dragon watching over her eggs. Human friends came to visit, bringing gifts and good wishes. Then the vision turned dark. He was flying over the same valley, but it was burning. Human soldiers with new weapons shot fire into the sky. Not the humans he knew. These wore the colors of a distant empire. They had come to conquer the valley and take its resources. He tried to help his human friends defend their homes, but the weapons were too powerful. The fire was too hot. He saw dragons falling from the sky. He saw humans he knew. Humans he had protected, cut down by their own kind. He felt the betrayal like a knife in his heart. How could humans do this to each other? How could they turn on their dragon friends? The vision shifted. He was Drakir now, young and happy. His mate Serena was beside him. They watched over their 3 eggs together, talking about the future. What would their children be like? What would they teach them? Then the firebombs came. He saw Serena try to shield the eggs with her body. He felt her death. He felt the eggs crack and burn. He felt the rage and grief that consumed Drakir after. The soldier screamed. The pain was too much. But the visions did not stop. He lived through 60 years of war in one night. He felt every dragon death, every burned nest, every poisoned river. He experienced the slow, creeping despair as the dragon race began to die out. But he also felt the other side. He became human soldiers, young men who were told dragons were monsters. He felt their fear and their propaganda. He understood how both sides had been manipulated by leaders who wanted power. He saw corrupt human officials who got rich from war. He saw dragon warlords who used the conflict to seize control of their clans. He saw how the truth had been buried under lies and hate. The visions came faster now. He was a dragon hatchling watching its mother die from poison. He was a human child whose village was burned by raiders. He was a peacemaker on both sides, killed by extremists who feared peace more than war. He felt it all. The weight of 60 years of suffering crashed down on him. His mind began to crack under the pressure. He could not take any more. He wanted it to stop. He wanted to die and end the pain. Then he saw something else. A memory that was not from the past, but the present. He saw himself, through Sereth's eyes, lowering his sword, choosing mercy, that one moment of kindness in an ocean of violence, and he saw the ripples it had caused. Sereth telling her clan, the clan telling others, dragons beginning to hope that maybe, just maybe, things could be different. That one act of mercy spreading like light in darkness. "Do you see now?" the keeper's voice asked. "One action, one choice, can change the course of rivers. This is why your mercy matters. This is why we called you here." The visions slowed. The soldier found himself back in his own body, lying on the stone floor of the caldera. The sun was rising. He had survived the night. But he was changed. He could still feel the memories, like ghosts in his mind. He understood now, truly understood, what the dragons had lost, what both species had lost. He struggled to sit up. Every dragon in the caldera was watching him. Even Drakir looked uncertain. I saw," the soldier said. His voice was hoarse. "I understand now. The old world, the betrayal, the pain." He looked at Drakir. "I felt your loss, your mate, your children. I am sorry. Words are not enough, but I am sorry." Drakir's eyes widened. You felt it? Truly?" "Yes. And I felt my own people's pain too." We have all suffered. Both sides. The soldier stood on shaking legs. But I also saw something else. I saw that the war continues because both sides benefit from it. Leaders who gain power. Merchants who get rich. People who use fear to control others. He turned to address the entire council. You asked me to prove humans can change. I cannot prove that for all humans. But I can prove it for myself. I have walked your path. I have felt your pain. And I still believe peace is possible. The keeper of the last flame rose. You have passed the test of the path of ancestors. You are only the third being to survive it in 200 years. You have proven courage, empathy, and wisdom. But Drakir stepped forward. No. He has proven he can endure pain. But can he act on his convictions? Words and feelings mean nothing without action. What more do you want? The soldier asked, exhausted. I want proof that humans in power will listen to you. That your mercy is not unique to you. Drakir's eyes blazed. I want you to go back to your people and convince them to accept peace. Real peace. Bring back a treaty signed by your leaders. Only then will I believe. The keeper nodded slowly. Drakir speaks with anger, but his words have merit. We must know if human leadership will follow where you lead. The soldier felt his heart sink. He was just an old soldier. He had no power, no influence. How could he convince the military commanders and politicians who had built their careers on war? I will try, he said. But I cannot promise success. If you fail, Drakir said, we launch the final attack. Every dragon, every human settlement. Total war until one side is extinct. He moved closer to the soldier. My sister believes in you. The keeper believes in you. Prove them right, human. Prove that her mercy toward you was not wasted. That night, as they prepared to send him back to human lands, Sareth came to speak with him. You did something no one else has done, she said quietly. You walked the path and kept your sanity. Even my mother, who loved humans, could not have done that. I almost did not make it, the soldier admitted. At one point, Andy, a Metarode, Andy, a Metarode. I wanted to die rather than feel any more pain. But you did not. You chose to live, to understand. Sareth touched his hand gently. My brother. He is not evil. He is broken. He loved Serena so much. Her death destroyed him. He sees your mercy as an insult to her memory. I understand that now, the soldier said. I felt what he felt. The grief is. He could not find words. But grief can make us wise or make us cruel. He has chosen cruelty. Then show him another way, Sareth said. Show all of us that loss can lead to healing, instead of more violence. The soldier looked at the young dragon who had changed his life. What if I fail? What if I cannot convince my leaders? Then we will face the end together, Sareth said simply. But I do not think you will fail. You have already done the impossible. The next morning, Voreth carried him back toward human lands. As they flew, the soldier thought about what he had to do. He had to convince military commanders and politicians to make peace with an enemy they had fought for 60 years. To give up the power and profits that war brought them. It seemed impossible. But then again, so had everything else he had done in the past week. Below them, he saw the border between dragon and human lands. The scarred, burned, poisoned, no man's land, where no one lived anymore. That, he thought, was the true cost of war. Not the battles or the deaths, but the wasteland left behind, the future destroyed. Vorath set the old soldier down outside the military headquarters in the capital city. Soldiers immediately surrounded them. Weapons ready. Stand down, a familiar voice called out. Colonel Hayes pushed through the crowd. He looked at the soldier with a mixture of relief and anger. You are alive. We thought the dragons had killed you. They could have, the soldier said. But they chose to talk instead. He turned to Vorath. Thank you for bringing me home. Well, Vorath nodded. You have 7 days to convince your leaders. Then the council decides. Peace or total war. The dragon spread its wings and flew away. Hayes grabbed the soldier's arm. Inside. Now. You have a lot of explaining to do. The meeting room was filled with high-ranking officers and government officials. They all stared at the soldier like he was a strange animal. He probably looked like one. His clothes were torn. His face was scarred from the fight with Krail, and he had not slept properly in days. Tell us everything, General Morrison said. She was the highest-ranking military officer in the region, a hard woman with steel-gray hair. The soldier told them. About Sareth. About the council. About the trials. About the path of ancestors and what he had learned. He told them about the dragons dying out. About the choice they all faced. When he finished, there was silence. Then General Morrison laughed. It was not a kind laugh. You are telling me that we should make peace with an enemy that has killed thousands of our people? That has burned our cities? That has refused every peace offer we have made? She shook her head. You are either insane or a traitor. Maybe both. The dragons never received our peace offers, the soldier said quietly. I saw it in the memories. Your messengers were killed by extremists on both sides. People who profit from the war. That is a serious accusation, a politician said. He was a fat man in expensive clothes. Do you have proof? I have memories, but you would not believe them. The soldier looked around the room. I know how this sounds, but I have seen both sides now. The dragons are desperate. If we do not make peace, they will launch an attack that kills everyone. Then let them come, Morrison said. We have new weapons. The atmospheric incendiary charges. We were waiting for the right moment to deploy them. If the dragons gather for an attack, we will burn them all from the sky. The soldier felt his blood turn cold. What weapons? A scientist stepped forward. He was young, eager. We have developed charges that turn the upper atmosphere into a burning field. Any dragon that flies through it will catch fire. We can deploy them in hours if needed. That will kill millions, the soldier said, horrified. The environmental damage will be catastrophic. It will end the war, Morrison replied. That is what matters. The soldier looked around the room. He saw the same thing in every face. Fear, hate, pride, the same poisons that had kept the war going for 60 years. I request permission to return to the dragons with a peace treaty, he said formally. As a representative of humanity, Morrison laughed again. You? You are nobody. A old soldier with no rank, no authority. You do not represent humanity. You represent one moment of weakness. The politician spoke up. However, if the dragons want to talk to him, we can use that. We send him back with false treaty terms. When the dragon leaders gather to sign it, we deploy the atmospheric charges. We end the dragon threat forever. Several officers nodded. The soldier felt sick. You would use me as bait? Send me to people who trusted me. To kill them? They are not people, Morrison said coldly. They are animals. Dangerous ones. And you are a soldier. You follow orders. The soldier stood up. No. What did you say? I said no. I will not be part of this betrayal. I have seen what betrayal costs. I walked through 60 years of suffering caused by it. I will not add to it. Morrison's face turned red. That is treason. I could have you shot. Then shoot me, the soldier said. Because I will not help you commit genocide. The room erupted in argument. Some officers agreed with Morrison. Others were uncertain. The politicians calculated how each choice would affect their power. Hayes pulled the soldier aside. Are you insane? You cannot refuse a direct order. I can and I will. Some things are more important than orders, Colonel. You taught me that once, remember? 20 years ago, when you refused to fire on a civilian hospital, even though the enemy was using it as cover. Hayes looked away. That was different. No. It was the same. It was choosing honor over convenience. The soldier put his hand on Hayes' shoulder. Help me. Please. You know this is wrong. Before Hayes could answer, alarms began to sound throughout the building. An officer ran in, his face pale. Dragons are attacking. Multiple cities. Coordinated strikes. Everyone ran to the command center. The screens showed chaos. Dragon firebombers were hitting human settlements across the region. Not military targets. Civilian targets. Towns and villages. This is it, Morrison said with grim satisfaction. This is the attack they warned us about. Deploy the atmospheric charges. Now. Wait, the soldier shouted. He pointed at the screens. Look at the patterns. This is not a full assault. There are not enough dragons. This is a faction. A small group. He suddenly understood. Drakir. The war faction. They had not waited for the council's decision. They were forcing the issue. It does not matter who it is, Morrison said. We respond with full force. The soldier grabbed her arm. If you deploy those weapons, the entire dragon fleet will attack. Right now, it is just extremists. You can stop this from becoming total war. Morrison shook him off. The decision is made. Prepare the charges. The soldier ran. He did not know where he was going. Just that he had to stop this. Behind him, he heard Morrison order his arrest. He made it outside before soldiers caught him. They threw him to the ground and pointed weapons at him. Then a shadow passed overhead. Vorath landed in the street, scattering soldiers like toys. Get on! The dragon roared. The soldier did not hesitate. He climbed onto Vorath's back, and they took off, just as gunfire erupted below them. What is happening? The soldier shouted over the wind. Drakir has broken from the council. He and his followers are attacking human settlements. He is trying to force a full war before peace can happen. My people are preparing weapons. Atmospheric charges. They will kill every dragon in the sky. Vorath's flight wavered. Then we are all dead. Once those weapons deploy, the full dragon fleet will attack in revenge. Neither side will survive. They flew faster than the soldier thought possible. His hands ached from holding on. His chest hurt from the cold air. But he did not complain. Where are we going? He managed to ask. To stop my grandson before he destroys everything. Your grandson? Drakir is my daughter Kareth's son. She died believing in peace. Her son has forgotten her wisdom. Vorath's voice was heavy with grief. I must stop him, even if I have to kill him myself. They found Drakir's war party at a human town. Dragons were burning buildings. People screamed and ran. It was exactly what the soldier had seen in his visions. History repeating itself. Vorath roared, a sound that shook the air. The attacking dragons stopped and looked up. Drakir, this ends now. Vorath circled down. Drakir landed in the burning town square. His scales were scorched. His eyes were wild. Grandfather, you side with humans over your own blood? I side with the future over the past, Vorath said. Your mother would be ashamed of what you have become. Do not speak of her. Drakir's roar was full of pain. She died for nothing. Her belief in peace died with her. The soldier climbed down from Vorath's back. He approached Drakir slowly, hands raised. I understand your pain, he said. I felt it. I lived through it on the path of ancestors. I know what you lost. You know nothing. Drakir spat fire at his feet. You are human. You are the enemy. I am a person, just like you. We both lost people we loved. We both carry grief. The soldier stepped closer. But killing more innocents will not bring Serena back. It will not make your eggs hatch. It will just create more pain. More Drakirs on both sides. Good, Drakir screamed. Let them all suffer like I suffered. Let them all burn. At that moment, the sky began to glow. Not naturally. It was a strange, chemical light. The atmospheric charges were being deployed. No, Vorath whispered. It is too late. The soldier looked up at the glowing sky. He had minutes. Maybe less. Minutes to stop both the human weapons and the dragon retaliation. Minutes to prevent the extinction of both species. He turned to Drakir. I need your help. Right now. If we do not stop this, everyone dies. Your sister, your grandfather, every dragon and human. All of it ends. Why should I care? Drakir said, but his voice wavered. Because Serena cared. I felt her memories too. She believed in the future. She wanted your children to grow up in a better world. The soldier met Drakir's eyes. Let her death mean something. Let it be the last death, not the first of millions. Drakir stared at him. The sky grew brighter. The air grew hot. Behind them, Sareth landed. She looked at her brother, with tears in her eyes. Please, Drakir, stop this. I cannot lose you too. Drakir looked at his sister. At his grandfather. At the burning town around them. At the glowing sky that would soon kill them all. And slowly, the rage in his eyes began to crack. What do we do? The soldier did not have time to feel relief. The weapon control is in the military headquarters, and the keeper of the last flame needs to recall the dragon fleet before they attack in revenge. We need to reach both at the same time. That is impossible, Vorath said. They are on opposite sides of the region. Then we split up, the soldier said. Vorath, take me to the headquarters. Sareth and Drakir, go to the keeper. Tell them what is happening. Tell them to hold the fleet back. Please. Sareth nodded immediately. Drakir hesitated, then followed his sister into the sky. Vorath grabbed the soldier. Hold tight, old friend. We are racing the end of the world. They flew faster than before. The soldier could barely breathe. The sky above them grew brighter and hotter. He could see other dragons fleeing, confused and terrified by the strange light. They reached the headquarters just as the atmospheric charges reached full power. The building was in chaos. Soldiers ran in panic. The charges were unstable. They were going to detonate early. The soldier jumped from Vorath's back before they fully landed. He ran inside, shoving past people who tried to stop him. He knew where the weapon controls would be. Deep underground. In the most secure room, Hayes was there, standing at the control panel. His hand hovered over the abort button, but Morrison stood beside him with a gun. Step away from the controls, Colonel, Morrison said. This is our chance to end the dragon threat forever. Hayes looked at the screens showing the glowing sky, showing dragons dying already from the heat, showing the human cities that would burn when the environmental collapse happened. This is not victory, Hayes said. This is suicide. It is survival, Morrison replied. The soldier stepped into the room. No, it is murder. And it will kill us all. Morrison turned her gun toward him. You started this. You and your mercy. He gave us a chance, Hayes said quietly. One chance to choose a different path. Are we really going to throw that away? The building shook. The charges were becoming unstable. Minutes, maybe seconds left. Morrison's hand shook. I have spent my whole life fighting dragons. I cannot just stop. I cannot just forgive. No one is asking you to forgive, the soldier said. Just to stop killing. Just to try. For one moment, choose something other than war. Morrison looked at him. At Hayes. At the screens showing the destruction above. Her gun lowered. I am too old for this. Hayes slammed his hand on the abort button. The screens showed the atmospheric charges beginning to shut down. But the damage was already done. The sky was poisoned. Dragons were hurt or dying, and the dragon fleet was gathering for revenge. The soldier ran outside. Vorath was still there, waiting. We have to get to the keeper. Now, before the fleet attacks. They flew one more time, through the poisoned air, toward the caldera where the Dragon Council met. The soldier could barely see. His lungs burned. Vorath was struggling too, but he kept flying. They reached the caldera just as the dragon fleet prepared to launch. Thousands of dragons in battle formation, ready to bring fire and destruction to every human city. The keeper of the last flame stood at the center, wings spread wide, ready to give the command. "Stop!" the soldier shouted. His voice was raw and weak, but somehow it carried. "Please, stop." The keeper looked at him. "Your people deployed their weapons. They killed dozens of our young ones. The time for mercy is over." "No." Sareth landed beside the soldier. It was stopped. The human leaders chose peace. "It is not too late. Show me proof," the keeper demanded. The soldier had no proof, just his word, just the hope that Hayes and Morrison had really chosen peace. Then, from behind them, a human transport appeared. Hayes leaned out, waving a white flag. Beside him, incredibly, was Morrison. "We come to negotiate," Hayes called out. "The weapons are shut down. We want peace. Real peace this time." The keeper stared at them. The entire dragon fleet held their breath. Drakir landed beside his sister, looking exhausted and broken. "The human speaks truth?" the keeper asked Drakir. Drakir looked at the soldier, at the humans who had come unarmed to a dragon council, at his sister, who still believed in peace, despite everything. "Yes," he said finally. "They speak truth. And I was wrong. My rage almost destroyed us all." The keeper was silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, the ancient dragon lowered its wings. "Stand down," the keeper commanded. "Let us talk of peace." The soldier collapsed. He had done it. Somehow, impossibly, he had done it. But as he lay there, struggling to breathe the poisoned air, he knew this was not over. This was just the beginning. The real work of building peace would be harder and longer than any battle. Sareth curled her body around him, protecting him from the toxic wind. "You did it," she whispered. "You saved us all." "We saved each other," he replied. That is what peace means. Above them, two species that had been enemies for 60 years began the slow, painful process of learning to be something else. Something better. And it all started because one old soldier had lowered his sword. The negotiations lasted for 3 days. They met in the caldera, humans and dragons together. It was awkward at first. Centuries of hate did not disappear in a moment. But slowly, carefully, they began to talk. The old soldier was there, though he could barely stand. The poisoned air from the atmospheric charges had damaged his lungs. The dragon healers did what they could, but he was human. Their medicine worked differently on him. "You should rest," Sareth told him on the second day. "Let others handle the details." "I cannot," he said between painful breaths. "If I am not here, someone will say the wrong thing. Old fears will take over. I have to see this through." The truth was, both sides still did not trust each other. Extremists on both sides wanted the talks to fail. There were assassination attempts, sabotage, angry protests. The soldier and Vorath worked together to stop each one, building a strange friendship in the process. "You humans are stubborn," Vorath said after they stopped the third attempt to poison the water supply. "Dragons are not much better," the soldier replied with a weak smile. "We are both too proud, for our own good." On the fourth day, they finally reached an agreement. The Treaty of the Burning Sky, they called it, named for the horrible moment when both sides had almost destroyed each other. The terms were simple but profound. Dragons would relocate their nesting grounds to the eastern mountains, away from human industrial zones. Humans would create protected areas where dragons could live without fear. Both sides would work together to heal the poisoned lands. Trade would begin. Communication would be established. And most importantly, both species would teach their children a new history. Not one that erased the past, but one that learned from it. General Morrison signed for the humans. She looked older now. Tired. "I never thought I would see this day," she admitted. "I am not sure I am happy about it. But I am willing to try." The keeper of the last flame signed for the dragons. "We have both lost much. Let us not lose more. Let this be the end of the old ways, and the beginning of something new." But signing the treaty was the easy part. Living it would be harder. That became clear during the ceremony to mark the treaty. It was held in a neutral place, a valley between dragon and human lands. Thousands came to witness it. Humans and dragons together, watching, warily. The soldier stood on the stage next to Hayes, Morrison, the keeper, Vorath, and Sareth. They were the symbols of the peace, the faces that everyone would remember. As the keeper began to speak about the future, the soldier noticed movement in the crowd. Something wrong. He had learned to sense danger after 40 years of war. "Down!" he shouted, pushing the keeper aside. An explosion ripped through the stage. Not from dragons, not from official human forces, from the extremists who had never wanted peace. They had planted bombs, hoping to kill the leaders and restart the war. The soldier felt the blast throw him through the air. He landed hard, unable to breathe. Through the smoke and chaos, he saw the keeper was alive. So was Morrison. Hayes was bleeding, but conscious. The bomb had failed to kill anyone important, but the crowd was panicking. Dragons roared in anger. Humans screamed in fear. The peace was about to shatter before it even began. The soldier tried to stand but could not. His legs would not work. Blood ran down his face. He had given everything to get to this moment, and now it was falling apart. Then Sareth did something extraordinary. She flew up above the panicking crowd and breathed fire into the sky. Not at anyone. Just pure flame, brilliant and beautiful, like a signal. "Stop!" she roared, her voice carrying across the valley. "The enemies of peace want us to panic. They want us to blame each other. Do not give them what they want." Drakir rose beside her. The dragon who had almost destroyed everything now raised his voice for peace. "My sister is right. I was like you, full of rage, wanting revenge. But revenge only creates more pain. I lost my mate and children. Do you want your children to lose you too?" From the human side, Hayes stood up despite his injuries. "The people who did this are not us. They are criminals. Terrorists. We will find them and bring them to justice. Human justice." Morrison stood beside him. "And dragons will help us find them. Because this attack was against all of us. Against peace itself." The keeper spread its ancient wings. "Let this be our first test. How we respond to this attack will define everything. Do we fall back into old patterns? Or do we move forward together?" Slowly, the panic subsided. Humans and dragons began helping each other, pulling wounded from the rubble, sharing medical supplies, working together to search for more bombs. The soldier watched it all through blurring vision. This was it. This was the moment that would determine if peace could really work. Not the signing of papers, but how they handled crisis together. He felt Sareth's presence beside him. "Stay with me," she said urgently. "Healers are coming." Did it work?" he asked. His voice was barely a whisper. "Yes, look." He turned his head. Through the smoke and destruction, he saw it. A human soldier and a young dragon working together to lift a beam off a trapped child. An old woman offering water to an injured dragon. A dragon using its body to shield human families from falling debris. "It is working," Sareth said. tears in her golden eyes. The soldier smiled, then his eyes closed. The world went dark. He woke up 3 days later in a strange place. It took him a moment to realize he was in a cave, but not a dark one. Sunlight streamed through openings in the rock. The walls were decorated with both human art and dragon carvings. "You are in the first joint hospital," a voice said. He turned to see a young human doctor and a dragon healer working together over medical equipment. Part human medicine, part dragon healing. "You are our first real patient." "Did I? How bad?" "Bad enough," the doctor said honestly. "Your lungs were already damaged from the atmospheric charges. The bomb made it worse. You will never be as strong as you were. But you will live," the dragon healer added. "Our fire sap can help heal internal damage that human medicine cannot reach. Combined, we can do more than either could alone. You are proof of that." Over the next weeks, the soldier healed slowly. He watched as the peace grew stronger. Not without problems. There were still fights, still prejudice, still people on both sides who wanted the old ways back. But there were also small miracles. A human farmer whose crops had failed received help from dragons who could sense water underground. A dragon whose wing was injured in a rockslide was saved by human engineers who built a support structure. Children from both species began to play together, not yet poisoned by old hatreds. The extremists who had planted the bomb were caught. A joint trial was held, with both human and dragon judges. It was imperfect and awkward, but it was fair. They were sentenced to rebuild the destroyed villages, both human and dragon ones, to fix what they had broken. Drakir volunteered to help guard the reconstruction sites. He told the soldier, "I need to make up for what I almost did. It will take a lifetime, maybe more, but Serena would want me to try." 1 month after the treaty signing, they held another ceremony. This one was to mark the first successful dragon egg hatching in the new nesting grounds. 3 healthy dragonlings broke free of their shells in front of a crowd of humans and dragons. The keeper of the last flame asked the soldier and Hayes to be the first humans to witness it. "It was a great honor in dragon culture. These children will grow up in a different world," the keeper said. "They will not remember the war. They will only know peace. This is your gift to them, to all of us." The soldier watched the baby dragons stumble around on new legs. They were so small, so innocent. They had no idea what had almost happened to them. What price had been paid so they could exist? "What do we tell them?" he asked. "When they are old enough to ask? About the war? About all the death?" The keeper thought for a long moment. "We tell them the truth. All of it. The good and the bad. We tell them about the mistakes we made, so they do not repeat them. But we also tell them about mercy, about the soldier who lowered his sword, about the dragon who gave her true name, about the moment when enemies chose to be something else." That evening, there was a gathering in the valley where the bomb had exploded. But instead of destruction, there was celebration. They called it the Flight of Witness, an ancient dragon ceremony that had not been performed in 300 years. The soldier did not understand what it meant until it began. Every dragon in the region took to the sky. Thousands of them. They flew in patterns, their wings beating in rhythm. The sound was incredible. Like thunder. Like music. The air itself shook from the power of so many wings moving together. But they did not breathe fire. They did not attack. They just flew, in honor of the new beginning, in witness to the peace. Humans watched from below, many of them crying. The soldier stood with Sareth on one side and Hayes on the other. Morrison was there too, her face full of wonder. "I have fought them my whole life," Morrison said quietly. "I never knew they were capable of such beauty." "We never asked," the soldier replied. "We were too busy trying to kill each other." The flight of witness lasted for an hour. When it ended, the dragons landed among the humans. For the first time in 60 years, they mingled freely, carefully, still nervous, but without weapons, without hate. A small human child approached Sareth. "Can I touch your scales?" the girl asked. Sareth lowered her head. "Yes, they are warm, like stone in the sun." The girl touched Sareth's scales and giggled. "Pretty." Her mother started to pull her away, afraid. But Sareth said gently, "Let her stay. She is not afraid. She shows us how to be." More children came, human and dragon young ones. They did not see enemies. They saw something new and interesting, something to be curious about, not afraid of. "This is how it should have always been," Voreth said, landing beside the soldier. "We were not ready then," the soldier said. "We are barely ready now, but at least we are trying." In the following months, the peace grew stronger. Not perfect. There were still incidents, still problems. Old fears did not disappear overnight, but the soldier saw hope everywhere. In the joint schools, where children learned together. In the trading posts, where goods were exchanged. In the healing stations where both species worked to cure the poisoned lands. 6 months after the treaty, they held an election. Both humans and dragons would vote on the first joint council, a government that represented both species. The soldier was asked to run for a position. "Me? I am just an old soldier. I have no experience in politics." "You have something more important," the keeper said. "You have trust. Both sides trust you. That is rarer than experience." So he ran. And he won, along with Vorath. Together, they became ambassadors of the Second Age, as it was being called, the Age of Wings and Steel, when two species learned to build together instead of tear each other apart. On the day of his inauguration, the soldier stood before a crowd of thousands, humans and dragons, mixed together, a sight that would have been impossible a year ago. "I am not a speaker," he said. "I am not a politician. I am just someone who made a choice. One choice. In one moment. To show mercy instead of kill. I did not know that choice would lead to all this. But it did." He paused, looking at the faces before him. "Each of you can make that same choice. Every day. In small ways. To choose understanding over fear. To choose talking over fighting. To choose the hard work of peace over the easy violence of war." Sareth stood beside him on the stage. She was an ambassador too now, representing the younger generation of dragons. "My friend speaks truth," she said. "Peace is not a single moment. It is 1,000 small choices. Every day. Forever. It is harder than war, but it is also more beautiful." The crowd erupted in cheers. Humans and dragons together, celebrating a future they were building together. That night, as fireworks lit up the sky, human-made colors mixing with dragon fire in a display of cooperation, the soldier sat quietly with Hayes and Morrison. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you had not lowered your sword?" Hayes asked. The soldier thought about it. About Sareth, dying in that mountain pass. About the war that would have continued. About the extinction that would have come for both species. "Every day," he admitted. "But I also wonder about all the other moments like that. The ones we never hear about. The soldiers on both sides, who chose mercy, but no one noticed. The individuals who refused to hate, even when hate was easier." "You think there were others?" Morrison asked. "There must have been. One person does not change history alone. Maybe I was just the one who happened to be noticed. Or maybe," he smiled, "maybe my moment came at the right time, when both sides were tired enough to want something different. Or maybe you are just stubborn enough to refuse to give up," Hayes said with a rare smile. "Either way, old friend, you did something remarkable." Sareth landed nearby, her scales reflecting the fireworks. "The children want to hear stories. Will you tell them about the mountain pass? About the first mercy?" Quote, "The soldier stood up. His lungs still hurt. His body was old and tired, but his heart felt lighter than it had in 40 years. "Yes," he said. "I will tell them, and then they will tell their children, and the story will grow, not just about me, but about all of us, about what we built together." As he walked toward the gathering of children, both human and dragon, waiting to hear the story of how peace began, the old soldier looked up at the sky. It trembled with fire tonight, but not from weapons, from celebration, from hope, from the hard-won promise of a better future. He had lowered his sword before a fallen dragon, and an hour later, the skies had trembled with fire. But not the fire of destruction, the fire of transformation, the fire that burns away the old to make room for the new. And in that fire, two species were being reborn, not as enemies, but as partners, as friends, as proof that even the deepest hatreds could be healed if someone was brave enough to choose mercy first. The old soldier began to tell his story, and in the eyes of the children listening, he saw the future. A future where dragons and humans would stand together, where the war would be just a dark chapter in history books, not a present reality. It would not be easy. There would be setbacks, but they would face them together now. And it all began because one old soldier, tired of killing, had chosen to heal instead, had chosen to show that the strongest warriors are not the ones who never stop fighting, but the ones who know when to lower their swords. The skies trembled with fire that night, and for the first time in 60 years, it was beautiful.